Oh, hey there. I didn't notice. I was just doing some reading here. I got real excited this morning. I don't know if you guys saw, but the Avengers trailer dropped. You can find it on our Facebook page, and you can find the books here. Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet, everything. But of course, we've got a lot of cool books that just came out because it's Wednesday. It is New Comic Book Day. There's a lot of cool stuff we're going to talk about, but just to give you guys some cool information before we get started, we do have some great stuff coming up this week. So first off, we do have a sale on back issues in our Times Square store beginning tomorrow. So if you guys want to save 40% off, which is a huge savings on all of our back issues in store, you can do that. We've got lots of cool stuff. We've even got some of the original issues of classic Avengers storylines. So there's some great stuff there. Then also this Friday, we're going to be doing a signing with Greg Pak for John Wick #1, which we'll talk about more in a little bit. And that's going to be Friday at 6 o'clock at our downtown store. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. But now we've got a wall full of books, and I've got a lot of words in my mouth. I'm going to spit them out at you talking about these books. So let's get started. Now, first off, we do have previews because it is the last week of the month. So we've got previews. We've got some crazy art from Greg Capullo there showing off metal. And of course, we do have the return of Kick-Ass coming in a few months. Mark Millar bringing back both Kick-Ass and Hit Girl. So I'm very excited for some cool stuff in that. Then we also have the Image Plus magazine. If you buy previews, you get Image Plus for free. If not, you can read it and you can still find out some really great information about upcoming Image titles. Then there's Marvel previews. So you got one for Image, you got one for Marvel. Makes sense. All the information on all the Marvel books in here, including the brand new X-Men Red book that's going to be focusing on Jean Grey's own team of X-Men. I'm really excited. It's Tom Taylor and Momota Srar. What's not to love? So we're going to keep on moving on, and we've got X-Men, The Age of Apocalypse. Now this is the trade paperback collecting the entire Age of Apocalypse series from a few years back. It did spin out of Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force, and it's actually really, really cool. Really weird, but really cool, and it's awesome if you're a fan of the Age of Apocalypse or Uncanny X-Force storylines. Then moving on, we also have the brand new issue of X-Men Blue. It's a new storyline called Cross the Capers. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything about this issue, but I will tell you it's a really good read. Cullen Bunn's doing a great job, Tony Silas on art, and the last page reveal is a great thing for longtime X-Men fans, bringing back some old characters we haven't seen in a while. I won't tell you who, but I'll tell you it's going to be cool. Then we do have also the collected edition of Mutant Genesis, the Epic Collection from the X-Men. Now this is volume 19 of the X-Men. These stories take place in 1991, and you'll see right there on the back that is baby Nathan Summers, the man who would become known as Cable, and this is the storyline that focuses on, you know, how he got those cybernetic components and, you know, sent hurtling through time and all that. Really cool storyline here. Mutant Genesis, it's a big one. Some great names on that cover that worked on this book. And then for another collected edition, we have All New Wolverine, Volume 4, Immune from Tom Taylor and Leonard Kirk. Really cool storyline. It's got a lot of Laura, of course. You see her right there on the cover. And it also has Ironheart popping up for a lot of the storylines. Some really interesting stuff if you are a fan of what Tom Taylor has done. And if you haven't checked it out yet, it's a great jumping on point because it's spun out of Resurrection. We also have two actually books from this week. Venom, issue 158 from Mike Costa and Mark Bagley. This is the end of the Lethal Protector storyline, and we've got Venom facing off with Kraven. That is awesome. It is everything you could want in a Venom comic, and it's really some amazing art from Mark Bagley. Now, before we continue moving on, we're going to take a crack up real quick and look at some of these other cool collections. We've got Prince Valiant volumes 1, 2, and 3 in a supersized hardcover edition, which is great because it's Prince Valiant and you know it's going to be gorgeous. It's a really cool classic series. Then we also have some Tarzan, the Greystoke Legacy, Under Siege. We've got The Big Bad Fox. Fun little book from First Second. First Second only puts out good books. They are amazing. Then we have The Bust by Paul Kircher. We have Kiss, the Elder. Then we have, this one's fun, Marvel Superheroes Larger Than Life. There's a lot of their, like, you know, all ages books, so good thing for the kids. Then we have Monsters Unleashed, Volume 1 from Cullen Bunn and David Baldion, and a whole bunch of previews. So that's a good little dipping our toes in the trade paperback pool. Now, moving on, we do have the brand new issue of Poe Dameron from Charles Soule. And that's BB-8 on the cover. I love me some BB-8. I love what they've been doing with the series. Then we also have the brand new issue of Star Wars, Jedi of the Republic, Mace Windu, and it's Mace Windu, it's Samuel L. Jackson, it's the baddest man in all of space. He's a great guy, and I love Mace Windu, and I love what they've done with this series. Then we have, from Jody Houser, the Star Wars Rogue One adaptation in graphic novel form. So if you're a fan of Star Wars Rogue One and you just want to read it instead of watching it, I understand, because sometimes you gotta, keep the volume down. Fun stuff here, cool storyline. Rogue One was awesome, one of my favorite Star Wars movies. Then we have the brand new issue of Spider-Gwen, issue number 26, Gwenum Part 2. Some really interesting stuff. Jason Latour and Robbie Rodriguez have been putting Gwen through some really terrible times, and here we get to see some follow-up from the Spider-Woman storyline that ran last year, which I think is really interesting, and also does some great character development for Gwen Stacy herself. Cool story, cool book. Moving on, we've got more Venom as the Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, The Venom Experiment. Trade paperback comes out. This is the second volume of the series from Jerry Conway and Ryan Stegman. So if you want some Spider-Man family action, that's the place to look. Then if you want to be horribly depressed, Silver Surfer, Volume 5 from Dan Slott, Mike Allred, and Lee Allred. And I say that because this book is nothing but fun. I will say Dan Slott's Silver Surfer has been weird, it's been crazy, it's been cosmic, and this is the conclusion of it all. So it's really sad because, it's the end of his run, the run of all these wonderful creators, and it does pull at your heartstrings quite a bit. But if you're a fan of the series, it's a must-have. Flat out amazing. I can't argue that. Now, moving on, we have the brand new issue of Secret Warriors from Matthew Rosenberg and Javier Garrón with R.B. Robson as well. And they're fighting off against Mr. Sinister. This is some really good Inhuman action with a bit of X-Men flavor for added good measure. Then we have Secret Empire Brave New World. This is a collection of the entire Brave New World miniseries, which has a bunch of different stories focusing on the different characters throughout the Marvel Universe, but the main narrative is actually about the Human Torch, the original Human Torch, Jim Hammond, and Namor, the Submariner. So if you're a fan of Namor and you want more Namor action, maybe you're excited for X-Men Red because Namor is going to be in that. This is some good reading while you wait. Then we have the brand new issue of Punisher 218 from our buddy Matt Rosenberg, who came by and did a signing with us 2 weeks ago now. And if you guys didn't get to join us at the signing, you can come by. You can pick up the book. We've also got a bunch of it online. And if you're a fan of the Punisher series on Netflix, if you're a fan of Punisher in general, if you're a fan of War Machine, check it out. It's a really good read. Now we have one of the new launches for Marvel Legacy. We have Old Man Logan, issue number 31, The Scarlet Samurai, Part 1, from Ed Brisson and Mike Deodato Jr. Really great storyline, and we get to focus a lot on Wolverine's ties to Japan, and that's an important part of who the man is, and it is a great read. And I also love, the storyline is called Scarlet Samurai, but you can see it here in the lenticular cover. It wouldn't be fair to go to Japan and not have the Silver Samurai as well, and I am a big Silver Samurai fan, so I really liked seeing how they handled that in here. Moving on, we also have the brand new issue of Moon Knight from Max Bemis and Jason Burrows. Now, this is one of my favorite books that has come out this week. This book is amazing. It is great. Pick up the last issue as well, because Max Bemis on Moon Knight is a wonderful read. And last issue was a lot of focus. I'm going to flip through a little bit. Last issue was a lot of focus on this new character that we are meeting that appears to be like, you know how Moon Knight is Khonshu and he's got like that whole Egyptian mythology? Well, last issue we got to meet Ra, basically. And there's some great stuff here, but I really like, oh, and there he is. There's that awful, awful human being. And here we get to spend some time with Moon Knight. And we also just get some really great action. There's a couple pages here I do want to show off, because it's just some really great art from Jason Burrows. And this is a really good read. And what I really like about this is that it embraces the classic mythology of the character, while also paying homage to what recent creators have done these last couple years. We have another great trade paperback collection this week. This time it is Jessica Jones, Volume 2, The Secrets of Maria Hill from Brian Michael Bendis and Michael Gaydos. This is, of course, the Jessica Jones storyline, but here we get to see Maria Hill, who is another Brian Michael Bendis creation, and how she fits in. These are two people you don't want to be stuck in a room with, and the two of them are stuck in a room with each other. So, see the verbal sparring, lots of insults, lots of great stories from Brian Michael Bendis. Then we have Jean Grey issue number 9, Psych Wars, and this is really great if you are excited for Phoenix Resurrection, which does come out next month. If you're excited for X-Men Red, Jean Grey is all over the place right now, and this is the place to look for your clues as to what the future may hold. Some really interesting stories going on right now from Dennis Hopeless and Victor Ibanez. Really cool if you are a fan of classic Phoenix like mythology in the X-Men universe. Some great stuff, and Quentin Quire is in it, and Hope is in it, and it's great. They're not on the cover, but they're in the issue, and I really like them. Anytime Hope Summers is in a book, I get happy, and Dennis Hopeless writes her really well. Now, a classic book that is back on the stands this week that you wouldn't expect to see is Dark Hawk, issue number 51, from Chad Bowers, Chris Sims, and Kev Walker. This is really good if you're a fan of the classic Dark Hawk series. Of course, this does bring back the man himself for a new story, and it does play a lot with what is going on with the whereabouts of Darkhawk, but also it looks like it might be playing into some future Guardians of the Galaxy storyline. So if you want to get a tip of the hat to see what's coming up, check this out. It really is a good read, and I've never read Darkhawk proper. I didn't read his original run. I know it's blasphemous of me, but I really enjoyed this. This was really fun, so check it out. Now we're going to take a look at some of the collections that are up here, and we're going to start off with The Green Hand and Other Stories by Nicole Clevo. Then we have The Path of Exile, The Art of Path of Exile, sorry. Then we have The Collected, Neil the Horse, as well as Spain. So that's cool. Street Fighting Men. And then we have Bad Mask in this giant, super cool collection. It's actually not crazy heavy too. That's impressive. And then we've got Zagus as well. Now bringing it back down, we've got some more Marvel. It's a big week for Marvel. And there's nothing better than the supreme book, Daredevil. Of course, this is volume 5 of Charles Soule's run. He's been doing some really cool stuff. I love this cover by Ron Garney. And it is a really great storyline because we get to see him playing with the other street-level heroes of the Marvel Universe. So it's not just Daredevil. You got some Luke Cage. You got some Echo in there as well, which I think is great because Echo is really cool and they don't use her often enough. Now moving on, we've got 2 more books from Marvel. Issue number 12 of U.S. Avengers, which U.S. Avengers has been one of my favorite books of the year. It's so weird. I don't understand how this book functions because it's just the craziest stories you could think of. This is basically, it's Cannonball Run. It is Al Ewing and Paco Diaz. And they're like in a bizarro, like it's almost like the Archie world, but it's got like a lot of Richie Rich in it, and it's kind of like Leave It to Beaver, and it's this weird thing, and it's like this meta commentary of how things have to change, but they don't change, and it's awesome. And you should read it because it's really good. And really excited for the No Surrender storyline that'll be coming up soon in the Avengers books. And then we have issue number 9 of America from Gabby Rivera. This is following up on some crazy stuff with the Exterminatrix. You can see her boot. I really like that framing on the cover by Joe Quinones, and I'm a fan of the America series. Now moving on, we do hit Valiant, and Valiant's got a couple cool books for us this week. We have the new issue number 4 of War Mother with this gorgeous cover by David Mack, books by Fred Van Lente and Steven Segovia, so you know it's going to be good because Van Lente has done some amazing work at Valiant over the years. Then we also have the brand new issue of Eternity from Matt Kint and Trevor Hairsine, who once again have done nothing but great work at Valiant. Matt Kint's written so many cool books for them over the years, and Trevor Hairsine, he's an amazing artist, and I really dig this cover as well. Now we hit Image, and we've got the brand new issue of Spawn, issue number 280, Dark Horror Part 5. And a book that I have enjoyed from day one, Sacred Creatures, issue number 5 by Pablo Raimondi and Klaus Janson. Really cool book if you're looking for a bit of horror mythology. Then there's the alternate cover, and we also have Renato Jones, number 5 from the Freelancer storyline. They've done a couple different Renato Jones books now. Kerry Kyle Andrews has been doing them all by himself. I don't know how the man does it. Created, written, drawn, colored, and owned by Kerry Andrews, and he's doing some really cool stories. Then we have the second hardcover volume of Outcast by Robert Kirkman and Paul Azuceta. If you are a fan of the series, you gotta pick up the hardcover because it's the best way to own it. And we have the brand new issue of Motor Crush. We've got a couple different covers here showing off our cast. I've been really enjoying what this series has to offer, and we get to see some great stuff going on here, some cool Babs Tarr art. I'm a big fan of it. I like all the creators on this book. I always try to find them at cons and stuff too, because I'm such a big fan of the series. It's really cool if you like something that's fun, fresh, and has like some really cool just family ties in the book. Check out Motor Crush. It's a quality series. Issue number 8. I buy both covers. You should too. Then we have the new issue of Manifest Destiny, issue number 32, as well as the new issue of Lazarus X+66, issue number 5 from Greg Rucka. Plus, there's the brand new issue of Kill or Be Killed from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Some crazy stuff going on in this book. You can tell by the crazy cover. Really like the design there. Sean Phillips, he knows what he's doing. Now, from our friend Declan Shelby, we've got Injection Volume 3. Of course, written by Warren Ellis with Jordi Belair on colors. This is an amazing book. If you have not checked it out yet, you're missing out, because it really is a lot of fun. It's Warren Ellis, so you already know it's going to be great. And if you've ever seen what artistic wonders Jordi Belair and Declan Shalvey can come up with together, this is a book that really showcases it all, and you should be checking it out. And to celebrate the release of the new sci-fi series, Happy, we have a new collected edition of the book that, of course, features the actual, TV show on the cover. So it's Grant Morrison's Derek Robertson, and it's weird. It's got like one of the weirdest premises of like anything ever, because it's like a crazy cop got a voice in his head, and you can see the little voice. It's really fun. I'm excited for the sci-fi series. Then we have Hack/Slash Resurrection, issue number 2 from Tini Howard, and there's a couple different covers. Plus, we have Ghost Fleet, the whole goddamn thing from Donny Cates and Daniel Warren Johnson. It's Donny Cates, so you know it's going to be good, because Donny Cates, once again, one of those guys that just doesn't know how to write a bad comic. He's really on the rise, doing some cool stuff here. Then we have Cannibal, sorry, it sounded like I said Cannibal, Volume 2 from Brian Buccellato. I'm a big Brian Buccellato fan. I loved what he did on The Flash, and I really dig what he's got going on Cannibal. Then we have Black Magic from Greg Rucka and Nicholas Scott. A couple different covers here. If you want some really weird horror, backwoods kind of stuff, but also got the cops and this whole thing, it's cool. Check it out. Then we have the brand new issue of Beauty, issue number 17 from Jeremy Wan. And we have some stuff from IDW, starting with the X-Files JFK Disclosure. So if you want to talk about the X-Files, there's some cool stuff there. Now, as we move on, we also have Transformers Lost Light, issue number 11. And we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ghostbusters, series number 2, issue number 5. This is the conclusion of the storyline, bringing together the two classic teams, and it is a classic in the making already. Some great stuff going on there. Now, moving on, we have the hardcover of the Inside Out Director's Cut for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Then we also have Sword of Ages from the artist and co-creator of Lock and Key, Gabriel Rodriguez. So it's a brand new series. If you are a fan of Lock and Key and you want to check out some cool new stuff from that same creator, check it out. It's awesome. And it's in issue number 1. So it's an easy sell. Try it out. Try something new, Then we have Star Trek Discovery making its comic book debut in the Light of Kallus. Couple different covers here. And then we also have Star Trek with Boldly Go, issue number 14. Then as we continue, we have Rom versus the Transformers in Shining Armor. And then we have Helena Crash as well. Now we got to interject our wealth of IDW with a little bit of dynamite in your life, as we have John Wick number 1 debuting this week. Of course, we talked about it before, because we've got the man himself, Greg Pak, this Friday joining us for a signing. It's going to be a lot of fun. This has been one of the most anticipated books of the year, because it got pushed back a little bit. I'll talk about the elephant in the room. This was supposed to come out a little while back, but that means that they've got it all in the can. That means that they are all ready, and I've really been excited for this book. if you're a fan of the John Wick movies, you gotta check out the book as it explores the origins of the man himself. It's going to be a lot of fun at our signing on Friday, so please join us, Midtown Comics downtown, 6 o'clock. It's going to be great. We hope to see you there. Then, as we continue, we have Giant Killers issue number 0. It is a new series for you to try out. It's an issue 0, so what's better than 0, right? I mean, come on, it's even earlier. So it's really going to give you the base of the narrative. Then we have the brand new issue of G.I. Joe, a real American hero. And no, your eyes do not deceive you. It looks like somebody's got a bit of a Snake Eyes motif going on here. Looks like things are going a little crazy. But this is a new storyline. Countdown to 250, because they're almost there. And this is Dawn of the Arashaki. Or, God, I've read that 1,000 times and I've never had to pronounce it. Arashikaji. But it's great. It's, of course, the Ninja Clan that Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow all come from. And you know that this is going to play a part of that as well. Then as we move on, we've got G.I. Joe, Volume 2 of the regular series. Not the Real American Hero, but G.I. Joe otherwise. Then we also have Atomic Robo, The Spectre of Tomorrow, Part 2 in issue 2. That makes sense, right? Then we have a bit of DC, but we're just going to talk about this for now, and then we're going to come back to it. We've got, from Vertigo, we've got Volume 2 of The Invisibles from Grant Morrison. You know Grant Morrison's crazy. He is doing some weird stuff in his comics, and if you've never read The Invisibles, it is one of his most critically acclaimed books, and you should check it out. So now we're going to talk about some of the cool collections that are out this week, and we're going to start off with Starstruck, Old Soldiers Never Die. Then as we move on, we've got Hiding. We've got Battlefields, Volume 3 from Garth Ennis and Russ Braun. 2 fantastic guys. Then we've got the Big Book of Bisexual Trial and Errors, which you know that's going to be a lot of fun. You know it's going to have some fun hijinks. Then we've got the Evil Within interlude. We've got Adventures into Darkness. And we also have The Unseen. Then we have Run For It. Robert B. Reich, Economics in Wonderland. We've got Santa Claus, Private Eye. We have Ghostbusters 101, which is a lot of fun if you're a fan of the Ghostbusters movies, the classic movies, the new movies. It's got all of it, and it's got them meeting for the first time in comic book form. Then we also have The Woods, and it's Volume 8 by James Tynion, and he is another one of those guys. He's always putting out good books, and The Woods is his baby, and it's a lot of fun. Now, moving on, we do hit DC proper, and we've got a lot of collected editions here. First off, we've got Volume 2 of Superwoman. And then we have Superman Volume 4, Black Dawn. Now, this follows up on a lot of the plot threads that were building up over a period of time. You know, if you've read the issues where it's like Swamp Thing in this weird forest where everything seems like it's kind of messed up. Yeah, no, don't worry. I didn't forget about it. There's some good stuff there. Then we've got Odyssey of the Amazons. If you are a fan of Wonder Woman, if you're a fan of the Amazons at all and you want to see them spotlighted on their own, check it out. Some good stuff here. Then we have Super Sons Annual. That's right, it is an annual tradition at DC. They always love to do these little specials, and there's some great stories in here as well. It's a supersized issue, so it is $5, but it's big, and it comes with a digital code, so it's totally worth it. Then we have the DC New Talent Showcase 2017. Now, you'll see here that it's got a couple familiar names that aren't new talent. It's got some stuff by Scott Snyder, Klaus Janson, and Andy Kubert, which is really great to have some classic creators, but there's also a wealth of new talent. And just to show you guys that this isn't just, this isn't just fan art. This is actually some real quality work here. These are the guys that DC has they have workshops that they do where they bring in and foster new talent, and then they give them all the keys to the castle to really play with some cool toys. So we'll see a cool story here between Duke and Red Hood. We've got some classic Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy get some spotlight as well. We've got Katana. We've got Nightwing. We got everybody. This isn't your second stringers here. We're talking about your A characters here. We've got a lot of cool stuff and some great stories. Check it out. It's $7.99. It's big though. It's got its own spine on the edge of the book because it's that big. Very interesting stories in there. Then we have Mystic U, which is a brand new book. It's going to be coming out on a different schedule. It's coming out every other month, so every issue of it is really big. It's supersized. It's $5.99, and the premise, it's simple. Mystic University in the DC universe as we follow many of our magic-based characters throughout. And of course, right there on the cover, you can see her. It's Zatanna, and I'm a big Zatanna fan. I hope you're a big Zatanna fan, because Zatanna is awesome. And this is a lot of fun. If you guys like the feel of stuff like Harry Potter, but you want to see it in a comic book form, this is your place to look. Mystic U, it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm super excited, and honestly, it's an easy pickup for me, because it's got Zatanna. Then we have the Justice League of America annual, which focuses on Lobo and Black Canary hunting down the worst person in the universe. No, it's not me. I know you were thinking it. It's okay. I'll say it for you. But it is a lot of fun. Steve Orlando is, of course, doing some great stuff on that book. And then for another annual, we've got Injustice 2, annual number 1. Don't confuse your numbers there. This isn't Injustice 1, annual 2. This is 2, number 1. And it is a lot of fun because, of course, Tom Taylor's been doing some great work over the years on Injustice, and here we get to see a lot of familiar names popping back up for a great adventure. Then we have Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, Twilight of the Guardians. Really cool Francis Manapul cover here. He is now on the covers, and Barry Kidson's on the B covers, which is great because those are two great names. And then Robert Venditti's been having such a fun time with the Green Lantern Corps. I am super excited to see what he does in this new storyline, Twilight of the Guardians. Now, we're getting into the holiday spirit, as you can see, with Green Arrow Annual number 1. It's Christmas time in Star City, and if you guys have been reading Green Arrow, you know that things aren't exactly super awesome all the time in Star City lately. I mean, even the fact that it's Star City and not Seattle, there's kind of a lot of bad things that happen there. But you know there's going to be good things happening in this book because Ben Percy's writing it, and he's been doing a really good job on Green Arrow for the last year and a half. Now moving on, we have Gotham Academy, second semester, volume 2. This is the conclusion of the series, and I'm sad to see it go because Gotham Academy has been a lot of fun. Once again, it's a book similar in terms to Mystic U, in the sense that it is a school setting in the DC universe, but it's also just got some really great characters. Brendan Fletcher, Carl Kerschel, and Becky Cloonan did a great job throughout this run. And if you want something fun that is really a delight to read, check it out. You won't be misled. Then we have, now this is near and dear to my heart. This is Flash by Jeff Johns, and this is where I started. This is actually the exact storylines that got me started, got me hooked all those years ago as a Flash fan, and I love this Michael Turner cover, first off. But this is Jeff Johns, Howard Porter, John Livesay. This is a lot of really cool stories, and I'm going to take a flip through because I want to flip through some memory lane here as we just look at some really good stories. This is one of my favorite runs in all of comic book history ever. This does take place after issue 200, which was really crazy for the Flash, but that means that this is a good jumping on point. So if you didn't read Jeff Johns volumes 1, 2, 3, you can just jump on here, show off that gorgeous cover. I love that. I love that cover. And there's some great stuff here. It also deals with the Secret of Barry Allen storyline, which was a tie-in with Identity Crisis. Some great art by Howard Porter, and this is it. This is my first issue. That was my first issue of Flash. So this makes me happy. And you can see that it's Flash fighting Gorilla Grodd. You wonder why I stuck around, because that book is amazing. That book is super amazing. Pick it up. I don't want this copy to last the end of the day. Buy that book. It is awesome. Then we have a director's cut for you of Dark Days, The Forge, and the casting. It's all in one. So if you want to check out the build-up to Metal, there's your entire build-up right there, and it is great. Then we have the Batman Annual, and I didn't mention this before, but the Green Arrow Annual and the Batman Annual both already sold out online, and we're going to sell out in store. I know it's going to happen, because when you look at this and you see Tom King and you see Lee Weeks, you know it's going to be amazing, because they did Batman Elmer Fudd just a few months back, and if you guys remember, that sold out in about, what, 30 seconds? That sold out and it went to like 5 printings, something like that. This is great work, and it's focusing on the relationship between Catwoman and Batman, which has been one of my favorite aspects of Tom King's Batman run. So if you want to check it out, it's right here. It's not online, it's here. So come here, buy it. I don't even have to tell you. It's going to be gone by the end of the day. I can almost guarantee it for you, so you better hurry up. Then we have a couple reprinted books for you. We've got Batman the Red Death and Batman the Devastator. Second printing and a third printing for the Red Death. That is probably my favorite of the Metal tie-ins. Once again, I'm a little biased because it's got my boy the Flash in it. Well, kind of. Then we have a Batman Creature of the Night. Now this is really cool. If you guys have ever read Superman's Secret Identity, Superman's Secret Identity is one of my favorite Elseworlds that DC has ever done, because it's a world where Superman exists as a comic book character, and then a young boy happens to become Superman. And so it's this weird meta thing that is actually just amazing, because it's Kurt Busiek and Stuart Immonen on the original, and now it's Kurt Busiek and John Paul Leon, and here we get to see the same style of storytelling applied to Batman. And young Bruce Wainwright, that is his name in this, because it is not the comic book world, it is the real world. And this boy grows up loving Batman, and unfortunately ends up falling down a similar path. So it's gonna tear at your heartstrings quite a bit there. Then we have the Aquaman annual to close off our DC books. Aquaman's been doing some really cool stuff, and it's great to see a one-shot style adventure. Then we have a couple cool things from Dark Horse. We've got Conan the Slayer. Some cool stuff here from Cullen Bunn. I feel like I say his name all the time. He's putting out so many books, and they're always pretty cool. So check it out. Then we've got BPRD, The Devil You Know, from the pages of Hellboy. So you know it's going to be one hell of a good time. Haha, easy pun, but really it's a great book. Mike McDonald, it's awesome. So that's it. That was it. Lots of stuff. Really cool stuff. It's a great week in comics. There's a lot of cool stuff. We are having our exciting signing with John Wick this Friday, so we'll see you at Midtown Comics Downtown. And of course, we're super excited for all the stuff coming out. If you guys haven't taken the chance, go watch the Infinity War trailer. It's on our Facebook page. It's on our everything page. Go check it out. And have a good new comic book day.